Dead Candy. Dedicated entertainment for the dead.
We're gonna have ourselves a party.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
You set them up and I'll knock them back, boys. One by one.
So the bartender pours me a drink.
And listen, don't worry about a thing. We got everything under control. You do your thing and I will do mine. Cowabunga!
Hey, you know what that sound means? It's the happy hour of horror with Slasher's Paradise. That's Danny and I'm Lance. Welcome to the happy hour. We had a really great time last weekend with our happy hour. Hi, Danny.
Hi.
Yeah, do the whole show in that voice. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
He's back.
Hi. I'm not, but I am.
Thank God.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I am 100% in agreement with what you just said. We did have fun. I had fun. I had a lot of fun last happy hour of horror. I'm so excited to be back here with you all because, as you know, especially in Lance's case, we are horrors for horror.
Horrors for horrors.
Yeah, we love this
we're having
shit.
a good time already. We've had a good hour pre-show for no reason at all, just having some fun. It's been, you know what's been really great about doing the last happy hour and all the videos we've been posting and all the segments is that some of our fans have kind of come back. They've reached out, they've kind of talked to us, and we've kind of seen, some of the people that we haven't seen in a while and talking to them online. It's been a whole lot of fun getting the band back together. Tune up the band. Let's go. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too, Lance, because as Aerosmith says, even though every time we get together, it really isn't a far departure from the last time. But as Aerosmith says, and every time we actually make an episode, I like to post on my story, we're back. We're back in the saddle again. See?
Yes,
I can be a rocker.
I am always awkwardly in that story. Never said this I don't think on one of our shows, but I hate being on camera. But Danny loves to make his reels, put himself out there. He's the actor. He's the performer. The two of us. I'm just the producer. Find me a replacement, Danny. God damn.
Horse.
We got drinks in our hand. Do you have drinks in your hands, everyone? Last time we introduced the Slasher's Paradise. What was it called? It was a rum punch, but did we have a name for it?
No,
it was just rum punch.
It was just called the Slasher's Paradise Rum Punch, exclusive for the happy hour at that time. So it looks like, just like bad habits, good habits are hard to shake. So let's continue this habit. And you think we should hit folks with another drink courtesy of Slasher's
I think
Paradise?
So. We're trying to build a menu here, so let's hit them with a new drink, Danny. What have you got for us tonight?
What I've got, Lance, for all of us to enjoy is an original drink that is called the Slasher's Smash. This is a cool, deadly, and gone in a flash drink. I wanted to bring the folks of the listeners of Slasher's Paradise a very interesting and fun drink that is a bourbon or whiskey base. So these are the ingredients, and it goes 2 ounces of bourbon or rye whiskey, 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, 4 to 5 fresh mint leaves. And that one is just for you, Lance. And I know you love the mint. A few muddled blackberries, muddled blackberries, I say, and then crushed ice. It's a very simple drink to make. All you have to do is have yourself a shaker or a mixing glass and then gently muddle the mint and the blackberries, right? We said the blackberries were muddled with simple syrup. Okay. The syrup is very simple. All right. But it is very strict. Just Tap it. Okay. Then you add lemon juice and whiskey. You shake with ice and strain into a rocks glass over crushed ice. And you garnish with a mint sprig and a dark berry, like a warning, right?
Right.
We have a suggestion, though. If you would like to garnish it with any sort of like accoutrement, find yourself a small plastic knife, and that is the way you will dress the slashers smash. Enjoy.
Beautiful. Eventually we will try to make all of these, I think, hopefully. That's really exciting. I'm still looking for the little knives. I've seen them somewhere, but I feel like nobody actually sells all these garnishes that we're trying to get people to use. We got to find them. We got to find those little butcher knives, machetes, and all those.
Yeah, it seems as though we are looking for the knives, but folks, the knives are out. The knives out. Huh?
That's a movie title. Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about. I just decided I would make a little pun there. But we are talking about other movies, aren't we, Lance? Aren't we?
We certainly are. One that as I was doing Happy Hour before I was editing, I was like, wait, what did I miss? Danny, what did I miss? There's a Carrie series that's been greenlit by Amazon Prime recently. I was like, this is mind-blowing. The reason I thought I missed it was because there's already talk about somebody joining the cast, somebody that we know, somebody that we've talked about, somebody that I've actually met. Go back and listen to our episodes for that story. Matthew Lillard is in talks to join the new Carrie series. More interesting than that, it's a Mike Flanagan series. We know Mike Flanagan. We're fans of Mike Flanagan. I especially liked Midnight Mass. That was my favorite so far. I know a lot of people were a little disinterested on that one, but I really enjoyed that one a lot. I know that you liked his other work, right?
Yes, I am a fan again of Mike Flanagan, and every time he puts something out, I'm a fan again of Flanagan. Look, listen.
Wow,
I'm going to tell y'all something. Stop, look, and listen. It's Flanagan. Listen. Mike Flanagan has a Variety article put out, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but they basically are singing the praises of one Mike Flanagan, and I am going to sing the praises as well because I do, as Lance said, have been a fan of the things that he's done in the past. Most popular for a lot of folks is The Haunting of Hill House. Of course, that's the number one. Then he came back with The Haunting of Bly Manor. And I'm going to tell you all something. I'm going to probably catch shit for this. I don't think so, but folks don't really fuck with Haunting of Bly Manor. And I do. I loved that series. I thought it was heartbreaking for like a completely different side of what a haunting can be. Obviously, like maybe they were trying to judge him too harshly. I don't know, because he was on the heels of a previous haunting series, but it wasn't a continuation, right? It's like more haunting, except like, you know, the actors that he had in the previous series were playing new characters. Albeit to say, I did enjoy Midnight Mass. I should try more often to do Hamish Linklater impersonation. I started doing a Hamish Linklater impersonation because he was Abraham Lincoln in that one Apple TV series. But it was just him as Abraham Lincoln. But Hamish Linklater is in Midnight Mass. I think it was Midnight Society, the teen one. I didn't watch it, not for me. But when he did Dr. Sleep, now,
okay. Yeah.
Yes, we've seen him flex his muscles, obviously, in the TV series sort of medium. And then, of course, streaming TV series medium, right? Because there's a different sort of TV series. You got your cable and whatever. But I was a huge fan of Mike Flanagan, and then he did Dr. Sleep, and I found that to be quite remarkable. I still have not seen Gerald's Game, which, if you all have not paid attention, between the two movies, these are Stephen King adaptations, right? And especially when you're talking about Dr. Sleep, you're talking about something that is a sequel to The Shining that had such a tall order. First of all, if you all aren't aware, and maybe we'll get into this when we do cover The Shining eventually, but if you're not aware, obviously Stanley Kubrick's The Shining was not Stephen King's favorite, quite being because Stanley Kubrick decided to take a lot of liberties with the source material in The Shining. So there had been other attempts to make The Shining really good, or excuse me, true to the book. And then Mike Flanagan comes along for the sequel to Doctor Sleep, which is a sequel. Sorry, excuse me. The sequel to The Shining, which is called Doctor Sleep, which is a sequel not to Stanley Kubrick's movie, but a sequel to the novel The Shining by Stephen King. Right. With such a tall order, obviously, if Stanley Kubrick was alive, I don't think he would really give a shit what was going on, but he's not. But the person who definitely did give a shit was Stephen King. And I believe when I'm saying the tall order here is, how do you pay respect? How do you honor what most people have fallen in love with, which is the Kubrick version of The Shining, and honor the sequel, the book sequel to it, which is Dr. Sleep? How do you do that? How do you mend both? And Flanagan did an outstanding job. Stephen King was a huge fan of it. So obviously a lot of goodwill has been bought in the King camp by Mr. Flanagan. So it is no surprise that he is the one that is going to be tapped to helm the Carrie TV series. From what I understand, he will be writing, producing, and show running, which is quite the lift, especially, and I'll just say it right here and I won't mention it again because we'll talk about it later, especially because he's the one in charge of the next installment in the Exorcist franchise. Just saying.
We're getting there. There's a lot developing, so there's a lot of information that's like confirmed and not confirmed. Last I saw, he's directing a certain few episodes, not all the episodes, so it might be like kind of a Star Wars thing where we get a guest director for an episode here and there. My biggest exposure to him, obviously, I did see the sequel to The Shining, which I thought was really cool. It felt more like the books than anything else. And I think people really enjoyed that part of it. It doesn't remind me of The Shining at all, but you're right. They did do enough to be like, okay, this is a sequel. But Midnight Mass, I really enjoyed a ton. It was really just the ambiance. It was drawing you into the characters. He really takes his time in his, especially in a show, but he really takes his time with the characters to draw you into them. And then just the absolute heartbreak of the characters dying, or the actions of the characters, or whatever it is. So I'm a big fan of his through Midnight Mass, actually. It's like one of my favorite shows. It's like one of the things I've enjoyed most in the last few years of horror TV. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm a huge fan of Carrie. The original movie is what I'm a huge fan of. It's one of my staples for Halloween. It's what I grew up on. And I was thinking about this the other day when I learned about the series. Like, what was it that just drew me into Carrie? I couldn't ever like really pinpoint. I never really thought about it, but it was really just the dark scenes between Carrie and her mother, especially shot in, was it 78?
76.
Somewhere in there. It was like 76. So yeah, perfect. We've talked about this with Friday the 13th, how dark some of the scenes are, the background scenes, the way lighting was kind of done. There's something so dark about those scenes that really draw me in. It reminds me so much of Halloween Night and all that kind of stuff. It's not John Travolta. It's not, everything else that kind of precedes it. It's not the coming of age story of Carrie and the bullying and all that. It's really just basically from the prom night on, and her interactions with her mom that were terrifying, overwhelming, I think. And then how dark those scenes are that really like drive me to like want to watch that movie so often. I don't think it's been captured since. There's been other adaptations of Carrie. There's been a sequel. There's been a remake. Again, I don't know if we're about to go down this road where we talk about theories about what Carrie will be, but does a modern version of Carrie work? I don't know. I think the remake I had like zero interest in just because of that. I think it was way too modern. It sounds like this might be heading in that sort of direction, but with a huge Mike Flanagan like draw it out sense.
Yeah.
of kind of the modern coming of age for somebody. So I'm looking forward to that. But one thing I got to say, the book, the biggest difference that the fans say the book and the movie had, in the original movie, is just the ending. The ending is way more epic and destructive in the book than it was in the movie. So I'm really curious to see if like this last episode of this series is just absolute chaos in the city. And I would love to see that. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to talk about theories or, you know, what you think the feel and vibe of this would be. Will this be back in the 70s, or is this going to be a modern day Carrie?
Yeah, all great points. It's so funny that you talk about the things that resonated with you when you watched the original Carrie, where I guess, given that, you know, I'm an actor and performer myself, I kind of latch on to performances, and like, this isn't saying anything groundbreaking, I don't believe, but Sissy Spacek is just absolutely phenomenal in the role of Carrie. And yes, I do think that there is a tonal sort of vibe to it. What actually I did not realize until I read the Variety article was that Carrie was Stephen King's first published novel. It's not to say that he did not write anything before Carrie, but Carrie was his first published novel. You're talking about, it got published in 1974. It got then made into a movie in 1976. So just think about that. If you're Stephen King, think about that. If, you know, you're just the folks that are around him or fans of his work, just like, you got to also think about anything else that had come from sort of word of mouth at that time. You know, some folks equate the success of the Evil Dead franchise to Stephen King because he wrote in saying, you all got to watch this indie film. I mean, it pretty much was that. So I'm just trying to like pepper in all these like sort of contributing factors to what made this situation kind of come to pass, because nowadays, when stuff gets greenlit, when horror movies get made, they're usually, unfortunately, but in this case, fortunately, remakes or reboots or requels from source material. All that to say, to answer your question, given what she does, given what it's about, given the overall tone of the story and the plot, I don't believe that going back into the 70s is necessary. I think they have also tried in the remake to make it a little bit modern, and in the remake they tried to honor how destructive that finale in the book was. What I'll say is I would be very interested in something that isn't too modern. I don't want to see all the doodads and gadgets and, you know, people are posting, streaming that, hey, look at Carrie going down the street and destroying this town or whatever the hell it is, right? So I don't want to see that shit because to me, it's not interesting, but that's me. So I think Mike Flanagan has definitely touched on a few audiences, right? He's made stuff for different generations, obviously, and I'm butchering it, but I think it's the Midnight Club, which is that sort of like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. It's that other show that he did that I didn't even try to watch it. I know my wife tried to watch it, or she did watch it, but she knows what I like, and she knows, she's like, I don't know if that's going to be for you. So all that to say, I don't know what avenue or what direction he's going to pursue, for which audience he's going to try and make this for. But if you made me choose, I would love for it to go non-modern times. And here's why. I think that there is a lot more mystery in word of mouth versus, no, I recorded the whole thing. Here it is, you know? Oh, you want to know what happened at the school? I survived, and I was, you know, or we could just run the footage. It was more, I think, impactful. And of course, you're writing it during the 70s. If you're Stephen King, you're writing it during that time. So it's like, yes, and the legend of, right? So, last I saw, the only actual confirmed fact is that it's going to be Amazon, and that Matthew Lillard is actually more so not in talks, but is pretty much confirmed for the series. So I don't know. I don't know what I specifically would like to see other than just great performances. But, you know, when you got folks like me who are just so ingrained with a monument performance like Sissy Spacek, it's really hard to top that. It just really is. So
what's funny is I've seen it confirmed, and now it's back in talks maybe, but I think she's confirmed. The main star, or who would play Carrie, is Summer H. Howell. I think I sent you a photo of her. I think she was in one of the Chucky films, maybe Bride of Chucky as a child or something. But she looks like Sissy Spacek. Like, she's really got that kind of I don't even know how to say it, just kind of down to earth, outskirts kind of looking girl. You know what I mean? Like, you can kind of dress her down like Sissy was in the original. And I'm like, that is a great casting choice if that is confirmed.
I mean, according to IMDb, according to IMDb, it is. She's going to play Carrie.
Yeah. Yeah. I just saw the article as well as about Matthew Lillard now being maybe confirmed. This is all within 2 or 3 days, you know, so all this is starting to roll out very quickly. I think the announcement was early April or mid-April. So all this is coming very, very fast, and it will probably change. But I can see Matthew Lillard almost being like a gender swap for maybe the counselor. There's rumors that maybe it'll be a gender swap for like the parental unit. Maybe he's Carrie's mother or father now or something. I would not want to see that, but maybe the counselor, or maybe we are going to focus more on the town itself, which I think the book definitely covered a little bit more of that. So maybe just a townsfolk sort of a thing. But you're putting some names on this now that it's like, okay, this is gonna build momentum very quickly. Especially Matthew Lillard's name is going around and around. He's back in Scream. He just did Five Nights at Freddy. Did a great job in that. Like, now he's making the rounds of the horror movies. Like, this is picking up steam very quickly, and I'm pretty pumped about it. As far as era goes, I you know me, I always want to go back. We just talked about that with the Crystal Lake series. I'm like, don't even bother. Like, just put that in the past. Do not make that modern. We don't want to see a modern take of that. That just works way too well from the 50s on, 60s, 70s. This one with Mike Flanagan, he focuses so much more on the human element. I'm not worried about the technology part. I'm not worried about some of the modernism, because he focuses so much on relationship and conversation and feeling, that this is one where I'm like, you know what? You can sell me on either way. We've seen the 76 version. I love it. We don't need to tap back into that, you know? In Flanagan, I trust, I guess. I will say a modern take is fine with me, because I know it won't be focused on technology. It won't be focused on viral BS and all that kind of stuff. Like, we don't need that. I hope, you know, we don't get too much of that. Maybe part of of her powers or whatever is that she, you know, cancels all that out. Nobody can film her or something, you know, like maybe you start playing into that sort of a thing, that you're like, how come we can't film Carrie? I don't know. I trust Flanagan for that, because he focuses so much on actual relationships and actual people. So, you know what, go modern with it. Fuck it. This will be the one that I'm like, let's see something new. But just film it dark, please. Like, have that relationship with her mom. Make her mom a full-on witch, like just like the 70s. You know what I mean? Like, please do that for us. Give that to us, because we need that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like to see Matthew Lillard as the parental unit. I think him as the concerned coach or counselor, I think he would do really well. But, you know, if you're going to give us something in this series that we've seen before, we're just going to say, don't bother. Your life will be worth spit.
Okay. Obviously, we know there's a big scene at the prom from Carrie. I'm just going to carry that over into the next thing. I'm excited for Carrie. I know you're excited for Carrie. This is the great recipe. This is just a a drink for our menu. You know what I mean? But speaking of prom night, Fear Street is back. I remember some of the Fear Street stuff. I really enjoyed the first one. Honestly, 1994 was probably my favorite. It was very like Scream and all that kind of stuff. But there's a new trailer out for, what was it, Prom Queen? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. Well, carrying on to the prom theme and kids in high school going nuts and being stupid. What we have here, folks, is the newest edition installment in the Fear Street, obviously, saga. To echo what Lance said, yes, I as well, Lance, enjoyed one of the 3-part Fear Street original anthology. I think it actually just got worse for me as it continued. The first one I was like, yeah. The second one I was like, and then the last one I was like, no. So it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So this one doesn't feel like it's connected, tied to the original anthology at all, besides the name. But we do see that there is a bit of a homage, if they're not trying, they definitely are doing it. Homage to Prom Night. If they watched Prom Night, they would have saved time. There's a formula to this. But yes, Prom Night, as we know, was the Jamie Lee Curtis slasher movie from the 80s, but this is called Fear Street Prom Queen. Might take a lot of the same cues as we see that they're dealing with, of course, all the shit that you go through when you're in high school. Is that cool? Is that not cool? This is hip. That is not. Well, that is all behind me now. That is my second Batman reference. So yes, we, at least me, don't know much except it's coming, and it was a hit. People really did. When I say people, okay, when I say people, I say that by and large, the folks who watched all the Fear Streets really dug it. They dug the whole shit. They enjoyed it, and they want more. So it looks like they're fine-tuning a little bit of what they are delivering. Maybe they got the same feedback that we just delivered, in the sense of like, hey, the shit that you started off with, you know, more like the time period genre of the 80s feel is what we like, or maybe the high school dynamic. I don't know. Just don't go into, you know, the Vitch era and expect us to be like, oh, dang, give me more of that shit. That's just personally me, but maybe that's more folks.
You could do it, but this is R.L. Stine, right? This is Goosebumps. This is the nostalgia that we're all like clamoring for. So when 3 movies came out, we're like, fuck yeah, give it to us. You know what I mean? It just didn't quite land, but you got to remember, like R.L. Stine, Goosebumps, there was some cheese to that. It's a different kind of horror, but like 1994 really captured the slasher shit. Like I was down, you know, and like a cursed slasher. I'm like, oh, I'm so into this, you know, and just from there, you got to kind of spread out the story. I'm like, just give us solo stories, just separate those, and we're all good. Maybe, I don't know, but you know what? I'm down for it. Like, you captured the style, you captured the nostalgia. I'm all in. So,
well, it seems as though, because I believe the decades, right? We know 94, and we know it was like 1774, or I forget what the third one was, but the second one was like modern, right? It was like 2004, whatever the case is.
Not memorable to me, but.
Right. So whatever the case is, this one though seems to be in the 80s. That's all that I think that.
I think it literally says the first shot. I've not seen the trailer yet. We're about to watch it for a dead trailer react, but it literally says May 23rd, 1988, the year I was born. So
you know what, Lance?
All the nostalgia.
You know what? Listen.
What, Danny?
I just saw a thing, and were the 80s the best decade for movies? Not just because we hold a nostalgic microscope or microscope over it, but because everything seems to be taking its cues from the movies from the 80s. Is it because the folks who were born and grew up in the 80s are now the shot callers and the talking heads, so to speak, us, and we're just like, this is what we prefer? I don't know. Is it just that the 80s decade was so superior as far as the heyday of introducing or brand new, like, time withstanding IPs? I don't know. There's a reason we're still talking about Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice and Back to the Future. Like, there's a reason that we're still talking about these things and we want to see more of them. But is it because the folks who are born and or around and grew up in there are the ones that are talking the most? What do you think?
I think it's just the most stylized decade ever, because you went from the 80s neon and high concept and fuck it, let's just try it, movies and music too, into grunge. Essentially for me, mid 90s into like early 2000s is all grunge era, and anything from the 2000s till now, there's no difference in the decade to me as far as like anything stylized, anything music wise. Like, you can listen to something from early 2000s and it sounds the same to me as it does now to new stuff, modern stuff, movies, kind of the same thing. Like, the 90s try to take the cheese out of the 80s, you know, for the most part. Kind of went into that grunge era. I think the 80s is just so stylized, but yes, it is the shot callers right now are all from the 80s. It's all us. That's another reason, but the success from the 80s, you can't really match. People have tried.
Yeah.
It's just not there.
I mean, I also do think that we are living in a day and age where everybody is so desensitized. The world is tiny. It's not tiny, but how connected we are with our devices makes it feel like it's tiny. You could just go anywhere in the world 100%. On your phone right now. And what you relied on is like, when you look, I think what it is when you get these lists and it's like, these were the highest grossing movies every year of the 80s and then every year of the 90s, right before the digital age, right? You're talking about like romantic comedies were in the top 3 and maybe even like top. Forrest fucking Gump was number 1. And all I'm saying is like, look at what is in its year. What are the movies that are like killing it this year and years like to come? Are these like big, long drawn out blockbuster superhero movies for most part? You know, it's just like huge event movies. They has to be like a huge event movie. You're talking about like Avatar and Dune and Avengers and stuff. No, what we're going back to this like Forrest Gump and like freaking A Walk to Remember. I'm just throwing out shit right now. When Harry Met Sally was like a top 3 gross. When Kramer versus Kramer. All I'm saying is that these were decades that were afforded the option and the sort of grace to do what you just said, to throw shit up against the wall to see what stuck. And I mean, I don't know. You know, you also had some of the best people giving you some of the best source material, i.e. the person we just finished talking about, Stephen King. So, oh well, maybe it's just, we're just waiting for that next wave, but here we are.
There's so many factors, obviously. Like, streaming is another one. Like,
yeah,
we've talked so much about box art in the old video stores. That doesn't exist anymore. The box art is digitally. I think the other day my wife put on Google Play and she's like, "What the hell is this? It's Amityville Karen." I'm like, "Why is that? Why is that on our screen right now?" It was like, yeah, it's like some random people just kind of put a film together and we watched she made me watch the trailer and it's very POV, but people are paying for this. Like, that's where we're at.
Y'all should have done a trailer react. I would have loved to see that. That would have been
maybe we will.
Probably priced.
Maybe we will. But yeah, I mean, I think streaming's kind of killed it. So now when it comes to theaters, it's like you only go to see the big movie. You know what I mean? Like you only go for the big experience, you know. But I gotta say, I went to Hard Eye. I kind of stopped going to the theaters for a while. We saw Hard Eyes and I had a blast. And I'm like kind of chomping at the bit to go back.
Let's go back to the movies, now. Lance. Let's go together.
Let's go. Oh, I just watched that reel again the other day. It gave me all the feels, the Hard Eyes.
That was a good day. That was a good day.
That was a great day. We're gonna do that again. So maybe for Clown in a Cornfield.
Yeah.
I just have to mention it. I'm not sponsored, but I'm pretending I'm sponsored by the movie to mention it every time we talk.
Sorry, I don't want to go too deep into it, but I saw him driving around a town and he's in the passenger seat. Friendo is fucking terrifying, dude. It's amazing. That is Great marketing.
It's the hardest thing to know what's going to happen, and like looking at my horror movie friend and being like, oh, I just want to see your reaction. Like I literally want to be. I don't even necessarily have to watch the movie with you. I want to see your reaction at the very end. I just want to know how you feel about the movie when it comes, because from the trailer it reminds me of the book immediately, which is so exciting for me because I really enjoyed the books. But,
yeah, we're gonna watch that shit together, Lance. So just get ready. That's it.
That's next weekend, baby. Okay, back to Dead Trailer React. We were watching Fear Street Prom Queen, the trailer. The official trailer. This is a Netflix original, right? So this is only on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Only on Netflix.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Coming to you live from Shadyside High. Only 2 days to go until senior prom, and anything could happen.
Music.
I'm hearing a song that I know. I got him.
Gotcha.
No.
Megan Rogers, principal's office right now.
Is that Coach?
Miss Granger, this is your time to shine. This is the new Shady Side. The
Is that
promise
who
of
I
a
think it
bright
is?
future. This is your chance to fulfill that promise.
I'm trying to win prom queen, but I am never gonna find a prom dress. You're so gonna win prom
I
queen.
bet you anything she's gonna find a prom dress.
Welcome, class of '88, to your senior prom.
Hi.
If you make a fool of me,
Nice
this
suit.
will be the end of you.
It just does not feel very 80s, but it does feel
It's
very
Shadyside.
Carrie.
When's it all going to go wrong?
Right now. It's gonna all go wrong right now.
Oh.
All right, we have a map of the Red Death Killer.
I
That reminds
just
me of
saw
Scream
something in the
Queens,
hallway.
right?
What does it look like?
You'll never be prom queen.
It's not as scary as the prom queen. I don't even remember my prom queen, to be honest.
I know how it sounds. A whole bunch of people have disappeared.
Oh.
Where are all the prom queens? We're trapped. How do we get out of here?
Wowzers.
This is a very special night, and someone is ruining it.
Well,
Put the music back on.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of the
Cut the
over-the-top
bitch that
acting.
did this.
You having a good night?
okay.
Okay. Here. Okay. Here. Watch. Okay. Listen. A lot is happening right now. I am thinking about a lot right now. Most pressing. Is R.L. Stein mad at us? Like, did R.L. Stein knock your camera off, Lance?
Did. Yeah.
Look, real quick, I say that because, okay, I'm not trying to say that the Goosebumps series didn't fuck shit up, right? It did. First, to a certain degree, to a certain extent. It was like you could buy them at the book fair. How crazy were they, right? They weren't. There was like always like a moral of the story is, oh my God, the mask, right? And it's fine. You know, here comes Slappy the clown. This feels like R.L. Stein is like, listen, y'all have been talking so much shit about what I bring to the table and talking about like that I can't make a scary or I can't make a vicious. And R.L. Stein, look, if those kills that we saw in the trailer, if those are like, yeah, I wrote this shit. I wrote it to be that gruesome. I wrote these words. So dig it, sons of bitches. Then holy shit, R.L. Stein he's reinventing himself. You know, he's turning heel or whatever, because I kind of fuck with that trailer, man. Everything was, I mean, yes, it's paint by numbers as to far as how we see trailers today. Get a really popular song, interject, cut, put the song, you know, this is like Ooga Chaka all over again with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's fine. That's fine because it still works, right? Because I dig it. But lots of things. So let me kind of like formulate my thoughts a little bit more. How you feeling?
I've seen it. It's literally the prom night remake. It's the Scream Queens killer, or the the all red. I don't see anything new here, and that makes me kind of sad. It makes me kind of I don't know what to look forward to, because I've seen it all of it. I mean, even you kind of said this, it doesn't really look 80s to me. I'm like, okay, the costuming is 80s. It's like, hey, nice suit, man. That light blue tux is, we're killing it. But then it immediately goes to that bathroom scene. I'm like, this is modern, dark contrast, and I don't see anything new here. I don't see anything to look forward to as far as creation. And this looks like, hey, I've seen this, so here's my new thing. I don't know.
I guess
that's just me.
I valid, totally fair points all around. I caution those who remember back in the 80s and thinking that because of the technology that was available and the way that movies came through on VHS quality shit like that, that's the way that the 80s looked, because I was 5 by the time I was leaving the 80s, right? So like it's like, hey, when I go to Mexico, is everything in that sepia
sepia tone?
sepia tone. Yeah, so like there's that, right? I mean, yes, everything was very much as clear as you see it today with your own eyes, right? It's just the color choices, things of that nature. Like, you can make something feel like the 80s because you used the colors that were popular, the hairdos that were popular. But if it's the way you remember, or the way you saw the 80s portrayed on like art and mediums versus the way it actually was, then we talked about this in the last happy hour. That's like the thing is like, it's never really going to be the same as everybody remembers it. They know like the high points, right? Totally tubular and all that shit. Gag me with the spoon. But none of that really is for 100%. This is the way, carbon copy. I want to make an 80s film. These are the things that I have to hit. That's just, as more adaptations come along, and maybe it's a bit of a contradiction of what I was saying before, but as more adaptations come along of like, this was set in the 70s and the 60s, and then in this case, the 80s, it's like, what am I actually waiting to see that is going to be like, yes, it feels like that? I'll say the last time I felt like something, I don't know, made me feel like it really, really was there was the first season of Stranger Things. Like, I honestly, I felt like that got it pretty good. But you're right. I mean, nothing of this looks like anything we have not seen before. Zero. And you know what? Sometimes that's okay too. Yeah. Sometimes it might just be like a fun little hack 'em up, shoot 'em up.
Yeah. It's just another thing to watch. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad that you said the first season of Stranger Things, because I literally remember the first 15 minutes of the second season. I'm like, okay, we get it. It's the 80s. Like, how many songs are pumping? But like, we've talked about it. It's not authentic, and maybe that's a budget thing. It's just not there when you don't go 100%. Like, we need those fried, crimped haircuts and shit from the 80s. Like, all I saw were a bunch of kids from 2025 dressed in, light blue tuxes and some flowery dresses. Like, it just doesn't come across as 80s. You're right. We both said it now. There's nothing new here. I don't see anything new. If that's your one trailer and your one, like, hey, come watch it. I've seen it. I've already seen it. And you know what? Maybe around October, I'm going to watch it anyway, because I'm like, fuck it. Like, what else do I have to see? But I don't see any other reason to go and watch it. I just don't connect to any of it beyond what I've already seen before. So,
I mean, look, I like that it's happening around, and that it's releasing around graduation. And you know what? Honestly, because I remember, and I'm not too far removed, I do remember how I felt when I was graduating, and how these kids are maybe like, it's the first day of the rest of our lives, and we're going to go change the world and all this shit. And it's like, dude, there's hormones. There's always hormones. So all these things to say is like, yeah, it felt Mean Girls meets Scream Queens meets Fear Street meets, I don't know, pretty much anything we've seen. What would have made me happier is if I felt that there wasn't so much cannon fodder, killer fodder. It seems like there was a healthy amount of people that this killer will kill. But let's talk about the killer for 2 seconds, Lance. An all red, slicker sort of robe, a robe that is wet, that is like leather material. And the mask looks like, I said Mask of the Red Death immediately, but I was kind of thinking like Eyes Wide Shut or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the vibe I got.
Yeah, I immediately said Scream Queens because I think that was like an all red kind of like a vinyl suit, to kind of keep the blood off or to wash things off. This has been a theory of mine, or not a theory, but just like a thought of mine recently is like, man, how many slashers are you going to make that are going to be original? Like, you've got to do something new. You got to do something different. Putting this killer, I say him, putting the killer in red is different. So, okay, it shines different in the scenes. The light's going to hit it differently. So that's kind of cool. If I saw somebody in a big red coat, I kind of laugh at first, like unless it's, a killer clown or something. But, again, kind of seen it already, kind of seen this look sort of done.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's hard to be original with a slasher killer these days.
But it can be done. We saw it. I think it was very original what they did in Hard Eyes. So
yeah.
The eyes lit up and they were actually, predator eat seekers.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, sort of. What the hell was that mask made out of again? Was it just skin?
Yeah, it was like leathers, and there was like a zipper. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of another mask, and it's a collector sort of thing. But anyway, yeah, this one is definitely a mask that doesn't move. It's like a face. It looked like a face. It looked like a man face.
A Mad TV reference. Oh shit. So it looks like the axe is the weapon of choice in here. So something again that we've kind of seen. We just talked about urban legend recently. A lot of shit we've seen before. So I don't really know. Again, what's to kind of draw out? You said the Mean Girls thing, and I'm immediately thinking of the girls dancing on stage with the American flag, and like
that's why I said it.
It also kind of reminds me a little bit of I Know What You Did Last Summer, the pageants. Like that's what I kind of thought to or went to. I'm like, okay, we've seen that, we've seen this killer before, we've seen the era before, we've seen the whole prom thing before. We literally just talked about Carrie. This looks like Prom Night, the remake, just visually, the colors that are used. I don't know. I don't know what else to like really, like pull out of this thing. We've seen it all.
Yeah.
So,
but oh well, more stuff for us to watch when the mood strikes. I'll probably watch it when it comes out. I'll probably watch it with my wife. We watched all the Fear Streets when they came out originally, so we'll probably watch this together.
Like I said, maybe I'll wait till October, but it's on the wait list. I got a lot of other stuff to watch before I'll even try to get down on this.
Well, all I'll ask you is, baby, do you know what that's worth? Did you know that heaven is a place on earth? They said in heaven, love comes first. Just want to.
I'm gonna walk away from the microphone right now.
I think that's as good a note as any to end that trailer react.
All right. Well, that was a dead trailer react for Fear Street Prom Queen. We'll see you on the couch streaming on Netflix.
Wowzer.
One thing I am looking forward to seeing, Danny, is I mentioned this to you recently. Hey, we're dog owners, right?
You bet.
We're big horror movie fans. There's a new movie out. It's been kind of doing the rounds on like festivals and stuff like that. It's called Good Boy. Not to be confused with the Norwegian movie that I think I confused you with earlier.
You sure did.
There's a movie called Good Boy, from the perspective of a dog and it's a haunted house movie. It just got picked up by Shudder. I want to read the synopsis really quick before we get into it completely. Okay. So this is Ben Lowenberg's directorial debut. He actually wrote it, and this is his dog, Indy, who finds himself on a new adventure with his human owner and best friend, Todd, leaving city life for a long vacant family home in the country. From the start, two things are abundantly clear. Indy is wary of his creepy old house, and his affection for Todd is unwavering. Indy's new world is immediately filled with unease. He senses invisible presences, follows phantom tracks, receives chilling warnings from a ghostly dog, and is haunted by glimpses of the previous residents' gruesome demise when a dark influence begins to grip Todd. Indy must fight a malevolence intent on pulling him into the afterlife. Yes, I'm so pumped for this. And I have so many reasons why, and you share the same reasons. Have you ever had your dog staring at the corner of your house for no godforsaken reason, and you start to freak out?
Yes, Lance. And you know what?
I've seen it with.
First of all, just so you, for those of you that are watching, there's a couch behind me. He is on the other side of that couch, asleep, dead to the world. I have been like trying to like snap my fingers because usually that's what will get him going. He doesn't give a shit. Okay. So he's back there. If he makes an appearance, he's small. It's Loomis. That's one. So for those of you that are, well, I guess audio listening, I think I pretty much described it. My dog Loomis is a Maltipoo. He's in here in Phelps' garage, and he just is. I've said his name like 40 times, and he still has not decided to move. He's snuggled. Okay, he's a funny little guy. Look, to answer your question, yes. And you know what? Like, my wife has had to go on work trips in the past 2 years. And so it has been me and the little guy for a long period of time. And, you know, in a house, even though it's not like a huge house, it's not like a tiny house. And there are moments where houses make noises. Okay. They make noises, and sometimes it doesn't make him move, but sometimes we'll be on the bed getting ready to go to sleep. And I have come to like kind of reason with the idea so that I can kind of put myself to sleep at night, is that he was doing this on the heels of my wife had just taken off on her work trip. But he would position himself staring straight at the door of the bedroom. And I'm a closed door bedroom sleeper. Like, I'm not one of these people that leaves the door wide open because one day I'm going to open my eyes. Actually, it did happen. I did open my eyes. I looked at the bedroom door, not here, but when I was growing up, and there was just a figure at the door. It's like, hey, what's going on? You know? And I'm just like, that scared the shit out of me. So it's like closed door. Sometimes I'll lock it. I'm that way too. Okay. So I'm a closed door, sleeping guy. Loomis would point his face and lay long ways facing the door. And you know what, whatever, we were alone in the house. The house would make noise, and then he would like shoot up and look. And I'm like, stop it. You know, just don't, unless there's something, go to it, unless there's something. But he would just, everything was setting him off, and it was already getting to me. It was getting to me. So to answer your question, yes, he has done that in the past. After hearing your synopsis of Good Boy, I'm convinced that if there's anything in this house that would be of the other world, he would be the worst to help me out, you know, unless there's a French fry involved, then he might be dealing with it. But he is very much like, heaven forbid, Uber Eats or anybody comes to the door, then it is absolutely World War III, right? But holy, like, good on this. First of all, this is absolutely phenomenal of a point of view. I think it's funny because when you look at the IMDb for Good Boy, and of course the synopsis, there's a picture of a dog, and from what I'm understanding, it's the actual director's dog who is making his debut and acting phenomenally, I hear. So that all that to say is that I see him, right? It looks like a golden retriever. I think of the dog, tying it back to the R.L. Stine thing we just did. I think of the dog in the intro of the Goosebumps series that their eyes would glow. They would turn like that yellow, giving me that vibe. But anyway, this is phenomenal. I need this movie yesterday.
I mean, everything you just said was a point I wanted to make. There was part of the production part. I don't think he is a golden retriever. He's like a mix of, I want to say like an Australian shepherd or a shepherd dog. But,
okay. Now that you mentioned it, I'm actually seeing a better picture of Indy.
This is something that I highlighted that I had to read out. In all, production with Indy took 400 days and a whole lot of patience as he is not a trained animal actor. The result, however taxing it may have been to achieve, is an incredibly realistic, haunting portrayal of a dog's reaction to his house taking on a life of its own. My heart is exploding because I have 2 beagles, but I've seen Loomis. I'm going to start with Loomis.
Mm-hmm.
When I went over, we just filmed something recently we're going to release. It's actually a really cool version of like MTV Cribs doing Danny's entire setup there. But there is a point in there, and I got to include it. I got to do a re-edit. But you turn the corner and you stare at Loomis, and he's looking in the corner, and you go, and there's Loomis looking in the corner. That's fucking creepy. And I died laughing. It's in my head. It's just like a comedic moment. He was just standing at attention, staring at the door. Literally, I can see the door right now. Under the Fright Night poster.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget that. I have 2 beagles, and they're complete opposites. So like, I have Wesley, who's like my alert boy. He's like scared of everything, but he's like, Dad, let's go. Like, it's time. Like, he's the boy dog. Like, come on. Like, we heard a crashing sound. It's time to go. He's the first one out of the bed. Like, hey, let's go. And I'm like, all right, shit, let's go. And then Winston is like baby boy, who's just like, fuck it, I'm sleeping. I don't care. Just take care of it, guys. I don't want to know. I'm asleep. Don't move me. Don't touch me. I'm good. And Wesley's like, let's go. Like, let's go, Dad. Let's go find it, But then he'll be terrified if we see anything. But then today I turned the corner and Winston was literally looking directly up at the ceiling for some reason. And I have no idea why.
See,
just staring up. I'm okay. And I'm just like looking up like, oh fuck, dude, here we go. Like, he's looking up at somebody. Like, it's so terrifying. That's what excites me about this is like, they obviously get it. You understand this perspective of being a dog owner, watching your dog freak you out throughout the house. Okay, now let's add a story to it. Let's make it a haunted house movie. I'm really excited for this. I don't know when we're going to get the distribution of it. I know that Shudder just bought the rights for it, so it will be on Shudder eventually. I see some lights flickering over there, Danny. What's Loomis doing?
We're probably walking around or not. Loomis, come here. Let's see if that gets him.
This just brings me,
doesn't give a shit.
This whole thing just brings me so much joy. I'm gonna enjoy the F out of this movie because this is just my heart is exploding thinking of our dogs. Dude, like obviously you get it. Like, it's just gonna be so good. I cannot wait to see this from the point of view of the dog. And it just made me laugh, like seeing a ghost dog like interact. Like, I can't wait to see how they did that with an untrained dog, especially.
Let me tell you though, the concept of a ghost dog. So, one of our last episodes, I believe it was, no spoilers, it was a movie about spirits. We talked about, or at least I did, something that would be going on here in my house. And upon further review, we have a guest room, and when you... Dang it, I thought I saw him. We have a guest room, and when you are in said guest room, the house moves or cracks and stuff because houses make noises, right, as you know. But this closet in the guest room is public enemy number 1, or it's like, the house's favorite tool. This closet pops loudly, and sometimes if you're not ready for it, it'll scare the shit out of you. When I knew something was up was when I was sleeping in the guest room one night, and I was on my phone for like hours, honestly, before I was going to go to bed, just like on my phone, and nothing happened. As soon as it was time for me to say, it's time for bed, put my phone on the charger, lay down, noise from the closet. Okay. That pissed me off because I'm like, here we are. Here we are. All this time you could have just been a house making noises. When I say it's time to go to sleep and then you make a noise, it means you were like this, watching me, waiting for me to get off my phone so you could be like, hey, let's play now. We play. We're going to play. So
yeah, it's our turn.
So shit, man. Here's where I know I can put myself in the shoes of the dads in these haunted house movies, like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, let's just say, when he knew about the history. You mean you knew about this place? Oh, come on, Cheryl.
Yeah.
How do you think we got such a good deal in this place? You know, he says it like that because I know what that feels like as a dad now and as, you know, the man of the house. When that pop happened and I like 99% knew it was a ghost, it was a spirit, like flicking the door, just flicking it like that. When I knew that happened, this was my reaction wasn't like, oh no, you know, my reaction was like, you know, shut up. You know, Kevin McAllister telling the furnace.
Oh, yes.
That was, and I was legit about it. Even if the ghost came over and was like, no, and like pushed me, I was so annoyed, man. Like I was like, I'm pit. I don't have time for you, you know?
Yeah. And
I say all that to say I'm full of shit because if a ghost did come push me, I would probably shit my pants. But about the ghost dog. So I have gone now and said in like corroboration with what my mom thinks is as well happening in that guest room is that it's the lingering spirit of a dog that's in that room. And just because of like little things, you be on the guest bed and then you feel like one side of it pushes down, but it's like as if a dog were to jump on and like kind of nestle and stuff. So even if it's not, we have come to terms with that being it, and it just kind of makes it feel better. It just kind of makes if it's a little ghost dog just trying to like its lingering spirit is just hanging out in that guest room and such. That's cool, man.
Is the guest room, because I haven't seen your baby's room. Is the guest room across or next to your master bedroom? Is it the
one next to the master bedroom? Do you remember when we did Ghost Show and you were in the room and you said you were doing
EVP?
That room.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. Yeah, I felt something weird in that room when we did that.
Shut.
No. I
shut. Just shut. What?
I remember. Okay, so we did. In case nobody knows this, we did a hilarious short called Ghost Show, and it was basically, it was supposed to be like a 3-minute thing where we just kind of make fun of ghost adventures and ghost hunters and all that kind of stuff. It turned into a 12-minute adventure that is phenomenal, and everybody needs to go watch it. Nobody's seen it. So, yeah, it's some of the best stuff that we've ever seen. So go to the Dead Candy YouTube and find Ghost Show and enjoy that entire thing. But we filmed a scene in there where I'm like taking EVPs like a real ghost hunter. And I remember shooting it, and it was just me and Christian, the guy that films most of our stuff. And I just remember feeling like something was behind me the entire time, like something just like, just kind of weird, just a weird feeling. But I was like, whatever. That's the closet that Danny's actually talking about. That always makes a sound. So it's kind of funny that you mentioned it. You know, I wasn't going to say anything. There was so much going on because we shot all of that within, I don't know, 8 hours or something, and then one night.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Really impressive. Go watch it. But yeah, there's definitely something in that closet. Good to know it's a dog. It's just a dog spirit. I'm down with that. It kind of makes sense too, because you left the room like a dog would be like, oh, where are we going now? You know, like I always have Winston behind me in this chair. And as soon as you walk out of the office, like, okay, what now? Are we getting treats? We're going to take a nap. What's going on? So
one more quick story about dogs and their like quirky behavior that may be like, oh, just leave me alone. Why are you always on me? I would never say that because Lubis could be with me wherever he wants to be. But have you ever gone into the restroom, right? And you're going to sit down and do your business, and maybe the door didn't close all the way, and the dog will like come in. What are you doing? What's going on? Yeah. But I saw a reel, right, on Instagram, and it was talking about when dogs come in and position themselves facing the door is because instinctually, wolves, right, which are where all dogs are descendants of, wolves would in their pack watch out for each other as they would use the restroom or do their business, right?
Yeah,
because that's when you're most vulnerable. So when a dog comes into the bathroom and sits and like positions himself facing the door, they're sitting there to protect you because you're at your most vulnerable. And it's just, I was like thinking about that the other day that I went into the restroom to be in there, and Loomis came into the restroom, looked at me, brought a toy, and I threw the toy, and then he never returned. So he's not protecting anything. And I just I love him. He's a funny guy. He is an incredible separation anxiety. He's one of my favorite things in my entire life. But I swear, y'all, he is that one dog that when the robber comes in and they just start giving him pets, he's gonna be like, great, what are we gonna do now? That's my guy. That's my little Loomis.
That's your boy. I love it. I'm really looking forward to this movie. Obviously, as a dog owner, it's a must. I'm guessing it's going to be a must watch. It's winning a bunch of awards. It's apparently very scary and well done. So 400 days of production. So, and
let me just also say more shit like this, please, for all you horror filmmakers out there. Yeah. More ambitious stuff like this. This reminds me, obviously, we will talk about it eventually, I believe, because I do want to watch it, is the movie Presence that came out. That is the movie shot from the perspective of the ghost. So more stuff like this, that is ambitious and new, and let's invent stuff. Let's reinvent stuff, but in a fun way, and stuff that like everybody can relate to. You can't do it from the perspective of a cat, because a cat just doesn't give a shit about anybody, but the cats see everything. They walk in both worlds. Actually, you can. Ooh, never mind. I'm going to stop talking. I don't want to give everybody the idea.
Yeah, copyright that really quick. All right. Speaking of new ideas, there's something that kind of went under the radar for me, especially. I think the title kind of threw me off, and we're going to do a dead trailer react for this because it's kind of blowing up, and I don't want to see anything until now. You know what I mean? The movie Weapons is dropping, and it is blowing up all over social media, as far as I can tell. I've done everything I can to not watch the trailer until tonight. It is just becoming massive. There's a lot of news coming out about it, and a lot of mystery behind it. Danny, what's your experience with it so far?
Similar to what you kind of mentioned, I was a huge fan of the director. Robert Krieger, folks, is who we're talking about right now. The new kid on the block, so to speak, since Barbarian. That was his movie, and if you watch Barbarian, you know how batshit bonkers that was and how exciting it was for a lot of folks. Barbarian is going to be one of those that's like, oh yeah, we can revisit that because it is so unique in its own regard. So Weapons is his newest movie. Apparently production or the producing rights to Weapons was a hot commodity. And what I do know, folks, is that Jordan Peele's production company, his management team, was trying to secure the insane $38 million script that is Weapons. They were trying to secure the rights to that. It ended up going for $38 million. His team did not secure the rights to produce this movie, and thus angering Jordan Peele. Maybe angering is me assuming. Maybe it's just smart business, but made him react in a way that he parted ways with his whole management team because of the miss that is not securing the rights to weapons. So yeah, I'd say one of two things are happening, or two things very importantly are happening. Robert Krieger is here and here to stay, and at least folks who read that script knew what kind of revenue or buzz it would generate and what kind of return it would get, given that, well, it fetched such a lofty price there, or a hefty price, I should say. $38 million for a script. Holy moly. And you're not even the winning, and Jesus, that's the winning bid, obviously. So yeah, that's what I have seen. I think I've seen a still and maybe seen Julia Garner and Josh Brolin. That's it. That's all I've seen and heard.
Yeah. I think I saw Josh Brolin was in it. I was like, okay, that automatically kind of adds legitimacy to this entire thing, though. I'm like, okay, so Zach Krieger he's the writer, director, and partial producer. There's going to be like 4 producers of it, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if that was maybe how some of the deal maybe ended up breaking down, where it was like, no, I want full control of this sort of a thing. I've kind of said about Barbarian, I really loved the first half of Barbarian, or the first 30 minutes or whatever. It really captured this very realistic awkwardness between two humans and an interaction, and kind of scariness. And then, to me, I'm sorry, but it just turned into Wrong Turn Detroit. But but the first 30 minutes, that's what I'm going to go on. That's really where I'm at with it. And I'm like, okay, you captured something there. You really brought me into that. And one thing I did read about this was that, I think it was Zach Krieger that said it, so don't quote me, but I did read that, like, the trailer that you saw, that's like maybe half the movie. Beautiful. And then after that, it goes a completely different direction. So I'm like, okay, beautiful. Cool. So even our trailer react tonight is going to be just based on this. What I did find is that there is this, which I fucking love, man. You know me. I love the Blair Witch Project. Mm-hmm. I lived through that. I went on the website every night for updates in 1999. I wanted to know. There is a website called Maybrook News. The actual website is maybrookmissing.net. And this is like a, oh yeah, Danny's just discovering it. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, it's set up just like kind of the Blair Witch Project website was set up back in the day. There's children missing. I don't want to read too much into it, but one thing I will mention that is very obvious is there is a reference to Barbarian in here, the underground prison discovered in rental home in Detroit. That is one of the articles. Everything else is just basically clips of children running around in the streets. So go check that out. That's part of their ad.
Yeah,
and,
go check
bring people in.
Go check it out, or don't, because let me tell you that sometimes oversaturation can be, if you have a creative or a kind of exploratory mind. Sometimes you can overdo it yourself. You could set too many lofty expectations and such. I know that when Blair Witch was coming out, and that's it was all part of the buzz. It was all part of the marketing campaign. Was like it was real and stuff. And obviously, we know that this is maybe it's an homage thing, or maybe it's just like, hey, we just want to take a swing and have some sort of, like, we want this to be a part of the marketing. Is that this official website? I love the idea. I love the style. Yes. But me personally, I will stay off of it because I do like to be surprised. And but thank you for telling me what tie into Barbarian would be there. So that's great.
Again, just take that quote, because it literally says like that trailer is maybe the first half, or maybe a first 40 minutes of the movie or something like that. And then we take a totally different, like Barbarian did. Barbarian set up something totally different and brought us in. And then we got something, wild after that. But this thing is blowing up. And what's the main actress's name?
Julia Garner.
So I've never watched Ozark, but I know that she's from it because of the memes. That's all I see her as is the damn reel that everyone used for years after that scene that she had in Ozark.
You're gonna have to fucking kill me.
Man, I feel so bad because I'm sure she's a great actress. I just haven't seen her in anything else, but she looks exactly the same. And I'm like, damn, that's all I can see and hear whenever I see her. So I got to see her in something else. You know, I gotta get that out of my mind. Gotta kind of cleanse the palate on that.
Well, you know, she was in Wolf Man, that is now streaming. Wolf.
Wolf.
Chew. She is in Wolfman, that is on Peacock, and it is on my queue. I'm gonna watch it. I gotta see, even though everything I'm hearing is like so which sucks because like Lee Winnell did such a great job with Invisible Man. So, you know, I wanted this to be a success, but you know, I might like it and everybody didn't. So you never know. But yes, she really got her in because of Ozark. That's where she was phenomenal as her character. So she's not only obviously going to be in Weapons, but she's also going to be the Silver Surfer in the new Fantastic Four. So,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know it was her.
Yeah. So more opportunity for you to see her doing different things. But yes, of course, as soon as that trailer came out for the Fantastic Four and you saw that she was a Silver Surfer, someone, of course, made the meme. If you want to get to Galactus, you have to fucking kill me.
No. So it follows her. It's not just me that. Okay.
No,
okay.
Of course it follows her. It definitely follows her. Anyways, so yeah. More shit from Zach Krieger, right? We want more shit, and if that is making... Honestly, like Jordan Peele has definitely earned his spot in the horror movie genre from when he started and onward. So we respect what is going on in his world, and the fact that was his reaction to not being able to produce this movie. Holy moly! Website aside, that is probably one of the best marketing buzz, tactics I've ever seen. Albeit, in reality, right, that actually did happen. But hey, use it. Good press. It's got me buzzing. So
I wonder if it's a rub. Like Jordan Peele's like, I was gonna get rid of him anyway, but you know what? I like the script for this movie, so I'm just gonna give you the rub on it. And
I dig it. Fuck it. Do it. That's how no matter what. It's how you make see those around you rise, and we all rise together, baby. I hope it's a rub. I hope it is. I'll rub.
That's awesome.
One. What?
All right. It's Danny and Dead Candy for a Dead trailer react for Weapons. And that's another thing. Weapons kind of threw me off. It threw me off the trail of this being a horror film. I automatically, thought of like Red State or something like that, where I was like, this is going to be off the map sort of a thing. So, all right, we're going to check it out right now. Here we go. Let's go.
This is a true story that happened in my town. So this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school.
Okay.
But today was different. Every other class had all their kids. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty.
The narration by the kid.
And you know why?
Incredibly creepy.
Because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs.
Love the non-specific time.
And into the dark. And they never came back.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Get it, Brolin.
Where are our children?
We have a lot of emotional parents.
Okay, so Wong and Thanos
if you keep some distance from this place.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Oh. Is that like clown makeup?
This is why you don't go to school after hours. It's actually terrifying.
Matthew, where are you?
Why are they running like that, man?
Where did you go?
Oh. Oh.
This is where the story really starts.
There it is. That'd be the halfway point. Okay. August 18th. Okay. Okay.
All right, listen. Everybody needs to listen. I am going to be there opening night.
Okay.
Because this is what trailers are supposed to be. They're supposed to tease, even though there are teasers and then there are trailers. This, I feel, gave me just enough. And yes, there's going to be more trailers after this. And yes, there's going to be more pictures released and such. And you know what? Fine. But I'm going to stay away from them. And that is what we need to get back to. We need to get back to you get one trailer and that's it. God bless it. That's it. If I have you, I have you. If I don't, well, then that's my bad, right? But also, this is perfect. Everything about this movie's trailer has got me in. First of all, New Line Cinema. Second of all, those kids are running that way. Why? Third, creepy clown kid face. Fourth, Josh Brolin's yelling. Don't make Josh Brolin yell. He'll snap his fingers and everybody dies. So nobody's even talking about that idea, right? That what if it was him with the Infinity Gauntlet? No, man. But honestly, seriously, the end shot of the open door into the darkness of the house. It's Lance. The suburban, what is happening behind the closed doors? I'm getting I'm actually getting chills, man, because I'm kind of blowing it up in my head, and that's it. That's the thing. That's it right there. That is That is any town America, right? That is any small town America, whatever. This is not a big city story, but it's everything. It's everything that, we both kind of came from this type of town where everybody's kind of connected through the local town paper and school board meetings and shit like that, whatever the hell. There's something to write. And then on top of all of that, the teacher aspect, me being a former teacher, there is something scary about being in the school when everyone has left after hours. It's dark outside. That's something very scary there. And then something so depressing about being there on a weekend when it's like Breakfast Club, detention, and nobody else is there but a few folks. Yeah. I'm a huge fan. I wouldn't say that I was the biggest Barbarian fan. I'm a decent Barbarian fan, but I have seen that this gentleman, Zach Krieger, is taking big swings, and this trailer just makes me feel all the right things. So that is that.
I agree 100%. I just love the mystery of it. Again, the website just gives you exactly what's in the trailer. Just, okay, there's some missing kids. We don't know why. At the very end, there's a lot of flashes of violence and self-inflicted violence and that kind of stuff. So it reminds me of some Ari Aster kind of stuff in the end. In the beginning, it reminded me a lot of the Black Phone stuff, which I don't really care for. It's a PG-13 kind of stuff, but it turns enough away from that I'm like, okay, I'm still in. It's not that. I don't see that. I think Josh Brolin, there's literally one scene of him yelling about the teacher, and I'm like, okay, we have real actors in this. We have emotion in this. We see, what's her name again? Say it again.
Julia Gardner.
We see a lot of emotion out of her, but I don't think she says a word in there, does she?
She may have said.
I think everything is just.
She may have said one thing, but yes, I agree that she is doing some fantastic nonverbal acting. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Which I'm down for. I'm like, show us emotion. We've talked about acting with eyes so much, and I'm in on the mystery of it. I'm in on the footage thing. You know, I love found footage kind of stuff. The kids leaving their house, and then that's the mystery of it. This is wide open. This is wide open to be a lot of things. I think the kicker on this is, again, the title. The title, Weapons, means there's going to be some sort of crazy turn. There's something to that is probably the catalyst to the film.
Also, like, not to interrupt, I'm sorry, but you know, Alden Ehrenreich, one of like the budding actors of today, you know, the one who played Solo in Han Solo, and he was the Senate aide in Oppenheimer as a cop. You know, like just a lot of like strong acting in this movie already with the folks that are in it.
Yeah, I'm very curious, and like you said, I don't want to see another trailer. I might go back to that website just to see what they do, because I love that. I grew up in that stuff, man. Like,
it's good shit.
Those websites, like that was my shit growing up. So I might go back to that, but I don't want to see another trailer. I don't want to know anything else about this. I remember Jordan Peele kind of saying about one of his films, Up. No, not Up.
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, I don't know why I said Up.
Because it's up there.
He said something about like, they showed way too much. Like, he hated the final trailer of his own film. So, so yeah, I'm in. I'm down. I can't wait.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something to that. I wonder if there's something like, you know, some directors do get final cut, and some directors obviously don't, and that's why you get like director's cut and producer's cut and all that shit. I wonder if he, you know, some of these better or more established directors are already starting to get like final cut of trailers, and you know, at some point, you know, publicity and shit like that and marketing, you can't do anything about it. Like, these are studios are like, we are in business together, so we will do what we need to do to get people in the movie. So I understand that part, but I hope that this is one of very few trailers that are released, and if you do release more, that they kind of just show the same stuff. But you know, I mentioned it during the actual trailer react, the voiceover by the child, quite terrifying, just quite terrifying. Let me just share a quick story. Children, you know, doing things that are just normal, but in the time when they do it, can be one of the most terrifying things of all time. I've shared that I'm a father, and I have soon to be 1-year-old. We were watching a movie the other day, and she's in her little pack and play in her little play place, and she's not really watching the movie because, well, she's just playing, and you know, we're on the couch, we're watching it, and there's something, I'm not going to tell you what the movie is, or I'm not going to tell you like what it is, because you might, you know, I might spoil it. But let's just say it was like a movie that wasn't it wasn't Coco Melon or any of that shit wasn't on TV, right? It was something that was happening that was like, you know, kind of like, oh, dang, this is an unfortunate circumstance. Somebody was, you know, maybe not, it was in a bad position or a bad spot. And she wasn't watching the movie, right? But she isn't actually making any noise either. She's just kind of in her play place with her book and stuff like that. And the next thing you know, she stands up, goes to the edge of the play place, points at the TV, and is just going, and just laughs at, okay, somebody is just like, you know, unconscious at the bottom of the ocean, you know, and she just like laughs, and it kills me. I turned the TV off immediately, and I was just like, okay, come over here. Let's read a book, you know? But all that to say is that, you know, like kind of like when Gage in Pet Sematary, you know, when he's just kind of doing stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, so this voiceover narration of the trailer, I'll say, is just perfect. It's perfect. And even it's because it's tense. It's like, because at this time they got up from their bed, walk down the stairs, and it's doing it. Oh, Diosito de mi vida. That was well done. I am in, and yeah, I'm in.
I like that it's the time is 2:17. It's not too specific. It has nothing to do with 3 a.m. anymore, which we've seen so many times now. It's like which is like when you'll see most Dead Candy releases, by the way. But 2:17 just being so random. I kind of like that. I like that you're just like, no, let's do something a little bit different. That is a strange time for children to be walking away. 17 children walk away in the middle of the night and never return. That's a terrifying story. You've mentioned like the suburban tales and like schools at night, schools over the weekend, especially at night. But there's so many schools. Like we would go to all these elementary schools. They all had a story about a kid missing an arm, and he got run over by a school bus, and he taps on the principal's office or whatever. That, those stories are everywhere in every city. And you're right, it kind of captures that. But are these nightmares, I'm really curious. I have no theory on what weapons has to do with this, and that's got to be the catalyst. That's got to be the difference maker.
Well, what did Barbarian have to do with the final plot? I didn't get the tie-in. Did you?
Barbarian? No, just a weird creature at the
end. Yeah. So
barbaric.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, so maybe weapons is a red herring, but maybe it isn't. So.
But you know what? It kind of does remind me of the old Twilight Zone of the aliens that like put the dome over the neighborhood and watch them all tear each other apart, kind of a thing. That's kind of what it reminds me of a little bit.
Good.
So maybe there's something to do with that. I don't know. I think that's like, yeah, something about that. But I'm in. I don't want to know another thing. Like I said, I'll play around the website, see if they update it at all. But other than that, I don't want to know anything else. But I'm there. Danny's there.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Dead trailer react for weapons. We'll see you at the theater for that one. Danny, how do you feel about horror trivia? Have you ever played?
Yes, I've played horror trivia. I'm actually the best at it.
Are you?
Yeah, I've played horror trivia before, but more like Trivial Pursuit, like cards.
Okay. How do you think you do on like a trivia TV show for horror movies?
If I would,
horror in general.
If I was like on a team, I'd have to pick my team. If it was just me, they would run out of money to award me.
Wow. All right. Well, there is a new horror trivia show that's being shown very soon. They're trying to, I think, get some backing so they can actually show it. There's 6 episodes so far, but it's called Better Luck Than Chuck. I just discovered this recently. It's actually airing over this weekend for the Series Fest. I think they're trying to pick up somebody to show it to the world, but it looks really cool. The synopsis is meet the widow, the wittiest witch of the Midwest, and her corpse of a husband, Charlie, the hosts of Better Luck Than Chuck, who invite horror fans into their basement to compete in trivia game show that tests their insight into fright. This does not specifically say horror movie, but I think it's a really interesting concept. There's an entire backstory about the widow and her husband, and it's really kind of hilarious. And it's like their 50th anniversary. She seems to kind of practice some sort of witchcraft. It looks very stylized. Kind of like Married with Children meets Elvira, the Crypt Keeper, in a basement. So I think it's a really cool concept. I can't wait to see what comes of this. I hope very soon we get to see it. And what kind of horror trivia? It doesn't say horror movie, so I'm curious. Does this go into true crime? Does this go into anything else? But looks like a really fun concept. I hope that it really goes somewhere and we can see more of it.
Yeah, I would be very interested to see this stuff. I would very much love to be a contestant. But yes, that clarification, would it be horror movies and or all things horror related? Because I don't know the actual body count of some of these actual, serial killers and such, but I could tell you, what murder weapon Michael Myers was using in a variety of films. So better luck with Chuck.
Better luck than Chuck.
Better luck.
Chuck is actually the host. He's the husband of the witch, of the widow. Yeah, and he's just kind of sitting on the couch. I think he can speak. I don't know if he can move much.
Cool. Well, that is an incredibly interesting concept, and I would love to see more about it. Better luck than Chuck. Good luck to those folks out there with that endeavor. I hope you all do a great job at Series Fest.
Yeah, me too. Really looking forward to it. They've got some contestants out there. So, and like I said, 6 episodes have been shot. So, here's hoping it works out, and maybe we'll be on there one day.
Yeah.
Anything else, Danny? You watching anything soon? Have you seen anything you'd like to share?
Yes, I would like to share that I have recently gone to the theater on a fun date night and watched, if you have been tuned to the Instagram of @SlashersParadise and or at Dead Candy, who shared the wonderful quick reaction review of me at the movies watching Sinners. I watched Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler. We talked about it a little bit on the previous Happy Hour of Horror, and we are I am very excited to report, spoiler free, that it was a fantastic film. One that I would say definitely requires another watch, for me at least. Not because it was left ambiguous or I didn't get everything I did, but when some things are shot in a certain style or film per se, this was shot in for IMAX. I think for the most part, when movies are done that way, for the most part, this is me, I'm a little naive to this, I think, just because I need a good recliner seat, y'all, and in IMAX, in true IMAX, they don't recline. They are stadium seating, but they don't recline. And the last time I went to a true IMAX presentation, I just remember walking away because, truthfully, these IMAX epics are usually like 2 hours plus. And just imagine not being able to really adjust or be in a reclined position for that long. It's just not me. So when I went to go watch Sinners, I saw it in a very good theater, but not an IMAX theater. Okay. So I think there was something to that, because I know it's a dark movie. Like, it's very dark because, well, it's in a certain time period that not a lot of electricity, or if there was electricity, actually there is electricity, but it's just not the bright fluorescent Govee lights that we have today. So the theater that I thought was going to be retrofitted to the experience was something that Regal Cinemas has, which is called Screen X, which is really fun. It's not 4DX or anything like that, but I was able to watch the latest Godzilla versus Kong movie in that theater. And what it does is if this is the screen, there are key moments throughout the whole movie where the entire sides of the walls will also be projected on, and it's really cool and really immersive. It was so dope for Godzilla versus King Kong versus Godzilla, whatever it was called, Godzilla Kong, especially like when they're in, like when he's like traversing through the jungle and stuff. It's just like jungle all around you. It was so dope. So when I was walking up and I saw that it was going to be in that theater, I'm like, oh yeah, oh boy. And it wasn't. Not one fucking piece of that movie was on the side walls. Not one single frame was on that side wall. So what I'm saying is that I think, do you know when you watch a movie on a LCD screen, like when it's like an there's OLED, and then there's LCD. What did I say? What are you laughing at?
I'm just so confused. Okay, LCD.
Right. So you got
OLED.
You got OLED.
There's LEDs.
You got LEDs, which is like plasma, right? Which is like true black. You don't get the reflection off of the screen. You know, you don't get glare.
I think now it's OLED, QLED. I don't know which one's better. I just started learning about TVs again.
Okay.
So buy a new one.
So what I do know is that like the one that's behind me is an OLED. These are the ones that are like with the plasma sort of technology. You can get that burn in image, which is what happened to this damn TV behind me, actually. Nobody warned me at Best Buy what I was getting into when I bought the OLED, which is can burn in images. So if you have like an Apple TV, right? I will get back to the point. When you have like an Apple TV and it's got like these static images, they'll burn in. So QLED is a little bit better because it will prevent against that, and it's really rich, vibrant colors. But the black in the like black image is not like true black; it's projected black, and you kind of see like it's almost gray. That's how I felt when I was watching Sinners in this theater. It felt like, gosh, that should be more visible. And I understand that these were choices that were made when this movie was shot, that it was intentionally kind of dark, but it felt like this wasn't exactly it. So all that to say, folks out there, if you are going to watch Sinners and you are fortunate enough to watch it in IMAX, fantastic. If you cannot watch it in IMAX, don't watch it in Screen X. That's all.
Thank you for the advice, Danny. It is coming back to IMAX very soon because it did so well and it is being requested. So I'm looking forward to it. Off of your recommendation, I will go see it in IMAX maybe. Until then, I think I'm going to go check out something on streaming maybe. Maybe I'll go check out Death of a Unicorn and Ari Aster. Why not? Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. I don't know. It seems like a random mix. It's kind of off the wall. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go check that out instead of going to the theater this weekend, but something to watch.
Might I also suggest with something that is actually on my queue, that is, if you did not want to go to the theater, Companion is now streaming on, I believe, Max, with Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid. Companion is one of the newer horror movies out. That is definitely something I will be watching in the very soon. So, Companion.
Awesome. All right. That is a happy hour of horror. I'm pretty sure we went way over the hour, but we gave you a drink. We gave you some trailer reactions. We gave you some news about what's coming out, some major stuff. Danny's got 5 fingers, 1 finger.
Lance, when you go to happy hour, it's not 1 hour. It's like between the hours of 3 and 5. Here are these half off apps and zerts. So
I'm just acknowledging the time, and I hope everyone has lasted this long because we have some very entertaining stuff that we've come out with. Again, go check out our YouTube channel, Dead Candy. Check out, please, our Facebook for Slashers Paradise is like booming right now. We're posting videos and a lot of content, news, and all this kind of cool stuff there. That's kind of booming. Our Instagram, Slashers Paradise, the Instagram at Dead Candy, all of it. It's got fun, new, cool stuff. Go check out the YouTube that has a Ghost Show, which we talked about. All of our trailer reacts. We'll break down this entire episode into a bunch of little videos for you guys to have some bite size for the future. But until next time, that's Danny and I'm Lance reminding you to
lock your doors,
bolt your windows,
and he always calls me that.
Blast from the past. Oh my goodness. All right. Join us next time in our Slashers Paradise. Cheers.
One by one. Whatever you say, Lloyd. Hey, did you see anything you like?
Thanks for watching Slashers Paradise tonight. Please hit the like and subscribe button and turn on all of your notifications so you know the next time we post a video or go live.
And if you'd like an audio-only version of the show, search for us on wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it. We're on all the platforms. We just ask that you leave a rate and review of 5 stars. And if you don't know what to write in the review section, put a recommendation of a horror movie you would love for Lance and I to talk about.
Yes, and if you'd like to get the full experience of Slasher's Paradise, including videos and audio all together, go to deadcandy.com. That's DEDCANDY, or go to youtube.com/deadcandy. Here's to you guys.
This is Slasher's Paradise. Sorry, I had to work that in.
And I'm going to drink on that.
Blended Canadian.